Day 613, 22 for 22. Good morning. Hope this finds you well. Please stay in your fight and do not quit. All right, so technology and time has changed war and us. Part 6. The military has gone off to war for the past almost 19 years. Off in Afghanistan and Iraq. Before that, Iraq and Kuwait. We've been all over the place since the end of World War II. Now, when World War II ended and there was the mass exit of people from the military back into the civilian world after Japan was defeated and after Germany was defeated, largely the workforce back here building all that equipment was undraftable men, young men that had grown up and didn't get drafted because they weren't needed, and a large woman workforce, Rosie the Riveter. When our guys came back from overseas back then, basically the woman ended up going back home and going back to her job, a valuable job in my opinion, of being a homemaker. Not all, obviously, but there was a lot of jobs. The American economy was 60% of the entire world at the time. So there was jobs everywhere. Our World War II vets had a couple of years to think about what they were going to do, to team up with people that, their brothers, and form a company that they saw a need to do. My grandfather, for one, I believe, owned his own business at the time, was drafted, went and fought, came back, took back over his company. If I have that correct, I could be wrong. And then my other grandfather came home and I believe took over the family plumbing business or started his own. I cannot remember which. My dad will have to correct me on that. But our World War II veterans came home and went back to work, and Congress did a decent job at taking care of them by getting the GI Bill passed, which let our guys and girls go to school, take care of business, get an education, and start a life. And then you had they were set up not as good as we are now in ways, but better in others, I think. I think there was less red tape, hoops to jump through to get things done. So, and you had a population that, through the newspaper and all that, were more appreciative of those guys, of the greatest generation. They had been gone for a long time, fought hard, done a lot of good things, and so good things. Obviously, it's war. Not everything is good. So they got a better reception. Vietnam veterans, on the other hand, got shit on, and that's not cool. Just because it was an unpopular war, fought by a not so popular president by the end, doesn't mean that the guys coming home should be treated like crap, and they should not have been forgotten by the VA or largely discounted. Same thing goes for Cold War veterans. They get the crap end of the stick from the VA, and a lot of people will thank them for their service, but they don't really understand what they did. I was part of the tail end of that generation of Cold War veterans. The Cold War ended 2 years into my first enlistment. So, and now there's the disconnect. I don't want to sound elitist at all because I'm not trying to be. But World War II, we still had a country that was largely immigrants, where there was you're in your first or second generation of people having come over from Europe, or Southern Europe, Western Europe, Eastern Europe, whatever. And during the war, you'd be getting these news reports from Edward R. or no, I can't. I'm not even going to go to the names anymore. I can't remember. But you're getting these news reports, about Dresden being bombed, Stalingrad holding tight against Germany, U.S. forces going in combat into St. Mary Glees, Copenhagen, Le Havre, if I have that right. There's somebody out here. Who is it? It looks like Mary. Yep, it's a Mary. So there, people could put, or Italy, Naples. It was a time when if there was something in the newspaper, you could say, "Oh man, I hope cousin so and so is okay," or "I hope my parents are okay." And there she is. Good morning, sweetheart. How are you? What's up?
Baba turned on the main thing. Mom told me and Baba don't do it again.
Okay. All right. So these places are something that were, people knew what it was. Nowadays, especially with the education system, people not caring or not knowing about geography. You say a bomb went off in Kabul. People are like, "Oh, okay, that's normal. It's been going on since the 80s, whatever." And there's just a disconnect there. Whereas guys and girls that have served in Kabul will go, "Oh shit," Same thing with like Kandahar. I've been to Israel. A bomb goes off in Tel Aviv. I've seen Tel Aviv. I've been there. A veteran that has served and gone overseas, and it doesn't really matter where, you can see it, and it affects you different than somebody that has no clue where it is on the damn map. So the disconnect there, and I kind of switched gears there, but the way a civilian nowadays looks at the war versus how our civilians looked at war back in World War II is a lot different. There's a 24-hour news cycle, so it's a constant pounding, and I can understand why people will kind of tune it out because you got more pressing things. But the thing is we that have served understand that even when it's not making the news, there's people over in danger, and they're over there taking rounds and giving rounds to those that would do harm to us. Doesn't matter your politics. I guarantee you, even if you think 9/11 was a government conspiracy, that there's somebody over there that will, if they had the chance, come over here and get you. Or if you go to Europe or Asia, get you. Look at the hotel in Mumbai, the nightclubs in Thailand and Indonesia and all these other places that have been hit by terrorism. The Philippines, terrorism is real. The war is real. You may not like how we got there, and a lot of civilians will rail against it, especially in the current political situation, but it's still there. It's been going on since before 1979. It's gotten worse since 1979, but it has always been there. It is not something that's going away, and a veteran knows that. Most of us, anyway. Most civilians go about their life, and that's the blanket of security that we have provided. We allow, by our service, we allow people to sleep comfortably, and that is a big deal. All right, time to go. I didn't realize I had hit that mark. It's no over 9 minutes. Sorry for the babble. Gonna do some push-ups? Oh, come on.
I didn't sleep comfortable.
Oh, me neither. My back feels like it's gonna fall out.
I didn't sleep comfortable because every night that I let Baba sleep with me, she always takes the soft blanket off of me.
So here's the thing. Don't let her sleep with you. She has her own bed. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. 1 for the airborne ranger in the sky. 1 for the infantry. 1 for the fallen. Hey, come on. We're pushing 10 minutes here. Thank you. Alright, so I don't want to... I hope people don't think I'm denigrating civilians. It's just 2 different worlds. It's not meant to be an insult to anybody. And there are definitely some that understand it. But largely, I think I got it right. If I got it wrong, let me know. Alright, so I have my YouTube channel, that_pushup_guy tough. Whew. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I have my personal Facebook page, Jim Tough, and then 20 veterans Facebook groups. If you need help, seek help. Get it from friends, family, professionals. There is absolutely no shame or weakness in getting the help that you need to be here. Do not use suicide as a permanent solution to a temporary or permanent problem. You got this. We'll see you here tomorrow. Can you say bye? Silhouette. 1, 2, 3. Tough out.
Tough out.
Go ahead.